Hello and welcome to DEETALKS. I'm Deepti, the author of the book Gloriously Lost. In the process of writing and publishing this book, I have gone through a bunch of videos, audios, tutorials, guides, and whatnot. So I'm here to share some of my experiences and knowledge and learn more about writing and creating greater stories together. And if you are an aspiring writer, filmmaker, storyteller, then please join me in this journey of creating greater stories together and improve our story writing skills. So, whenever somebody gets to know that I have published this book, a very popular question I get is how do I get that idea and how do I form it into a story? And that is exactly what we're going to look at in the first episode of this series on writing. How to pick a story. How do you know that that is the idea that you're going to put your heart and soul into in creating it into a story? Well, point number one is it has to be definitely something that you enjoy consuming. You would have seen creators following the same genre throughout their career. It's no surprise because that is what they thoroughly enjoy creating. And that is what they can work on day in and day out passionately without getting bored. After all, we all are here to create stories that we love and enjoy to consume. So be clear with your genre, whether it's going to be an action, comedy, thriller, horror, drama, or whatever. So once you pick your genre, point number two is to decide whether it's going to be an incident or a journey. If you deeply look at stories or movies, any story is either an incident or a journey. So when I say incident, I'm referring to movies like 127 Hours, The Impossible, or The Manjumal Boys. Over here, we're not deep diving into any character's life or possibly some incidents from the backstory, but in and around that major incident that happened. For example, if you see in the movie The Impossible, that movie covers how a family go through the incident of a tsunami, which they would personally witness and go through and struggle and recover. The entire movie is around that major incident. Any other movie or story other than an incident will be a journey. It would start with the protagonist being at one point of their life, then some incident or a situation or a challenge would hit them drastically that would change their normal life into something challenging and they would recover from it. So that is basically a journey from one point to other. So deciding whether it's going to be an incident or a journey will help you not deviate from the idea that you're going to sit and work on. Now we have the genre in hand. We would know whether it's going to be an incident or a journey. And the next one would be to pick that fascinating idea. So once you decide on whether it's going to be an incident or a journey, you will need to list down the various possible and impossible scenarios in and around that idea. For example, if you're going to write about a sport, a cricket or a badminton or any sport for that matter, then you will need to decide whether you're going to write about that incredible match that has happened where the protagonist could have never won but they did, or could have won and they terribly failed, or whether it's going to be about a sportsman who has achieved a lot in their career when they're active but currently abandoned. These are the examples of various scenarios that you can build in and around a topic that you choose. Or you could choose a story that has happened in real life where you are really affected from. Of course, it need not be personally, but there are incidents that happen which just hit us but doesn't pass by very quickly. You can take one of those scenarios and then build a story around it. But whenever you take something like that, research is the key, guys. You will need to get all your facts right. Research, research, research. So once you list down all the ideas that you could possibly think, you will need to pick one idea from it which tops in the list. How do you know which tops the list? Well, it has to be that one idea which doesn't go out of your head. You would be eventually thinking about it day in and day out while doing anything or even while you go to bed. That is the idea which you need to pick, and that is the idea you can work on from the start to end. Otherwise, you'll burn out. Of course, you need to make sure that there are no predominant movies or books that have come out on the same grounds. Trust me, you need not get attacked by plagiarism on your first project. Point number four would be once you pick that fascinating idea, just put your consumer hats on and judge that idea. If it is not great or not great enough yet, then don't hesitate to add more ideas to it to make it strong enough. Being delusional about your idea or a storyline is okay, but remember that you need to be able to step back and be your first critic in order to create valuable content. So don't hesitate to merge two ideas or build up on the basic idea to make it more stronger. For example, in the movie The Padayappa, the movie could have ended happily once Padayappa restores his family's wealth, honor, and gets married to his love. But the part where Neelamuri comes back after many years just adds in that spice and creates more layer to that story. It just elevates the entire movie altogether. And that's what I'm talking about. Do not hesitate to create more layers or add in additional characters to just make your story more stronger. So by this time, you would have listed all the possible ideas and picked that one fascinating idea of yours. There is another advanced or dynamic way of story writing, which is you have one holistic idea or a storyline, but you have multiple main characters, scenarios that are happening parallelly, which eventually adds up to that one storyline together seamlessly and not colliding with one another. Due to the complexity of this type of story writing, I would not recommend this to be your first project. Not yet. Let's start with something simple but better. I hope this video helped you in picking that one story that you're going to write about. We're going to learn about more topics of writing and writing techniques. Please do follow along if you're interested. Until next time, bye.